they just smoke a cigarette together, a little bit like the peace pipe between the cowboys and the Indians. And we thought that it's a great joke, a little bit satire on how we usually represent Arab characters in the cinema. And for us it was our way to show a step forward in the way we represent this conflict.
Because his second appearance was for me like a deus ex machina.
Yes, definitely. The first time we've seen it, it was a little bit like a personal say as writers and directors, because obviously he does not belong there. It's out of the blue, it's like, it doesn't really help the plot, but then again we wanted to make it a payoff in the end, where he comes out of nowhere, but helps.
Igen, szóval, hogy összefoglaljam az egészet, az arab karaktereket az izraeli filmekben általában vagy áldozatként mutatják be, vagy mint aki elköveti a bűnt, például mint terroristákat, és nekik ezzel csak annyi szándékuk volt, hogy a jó embernek mutassák be egy kicsit az arabokat, jó fejnek, kedvesnek, és igazából semmi szerepet nem játszik a filmben, viszont tehát csak egy cigarettát szível, vagy éppen ott van és segít, de most az egyszer nem ő az áldozat, vagy nem ő a rossz ember.
Szerintem akkor várjuk a kérdéseket, ha esetleg van valakinek kérdése a rendező úrhoz, akkor az nyugodtan fel tudja most tenni. Visszam a mikrofont, jó? Annyi lenne a kérés, hogy egy bemutatkozás, ha esetleg sajtót képviselsz, akkor a sajtóorgánumunknak a neve is megjegyzés.
Magánszemélyként, és Barek Péter. And you may be a bit too young to be a father, so you're not a father, are you?
Not as far as I know. I mean,
Who knows? Yeah.
Okay. I am. I don't have a daughter. I have a son. However, this film made me think a lot too. I was wondering whether. So where did you get this from? I mean, where is this initiative from? Does kidnapping happen that often, or is it a topic? So I wonder how you picked the topic.
well,
Can you say it in Hungarian also?
Szükség van a magyar verzióra? Mert itt a film elején megbeszéltük, hogy mindenki beszél angolul. I think we can carry on in English, so we can save some time.
That's a great question. No, we don't have. It's not based on a true story, and I have to admit we don't have many stories like that in Israel. Not something that I remember is even close to that. We thought about we thought about the story more of a metaphor for someone hurting your kids, hurting your loved ones. What would you do in that case? How far will you go just in the name of justice, in the name of revenge? And kids is the perfect metaphor for something that is naive and clean and pure. And obviously child abuse is like hurting the most beautiful thing in the world. So I didn't come to that idea as a father, but I had I'm a brother and I had a sister. My brother is actually here, but and just the fact that someone will hurt you through your family, something that is unbearable, and we thought it was a great motivation. And we can talk also about the subtext and the layers of what will you do to protect your children in the name of survivalness and generation ahead. But it will be a very long answer. So, to be specific, that's it.
Kell fordítás magyarra, vagy nem szükséges? Jó?
Jövök.
You can still sit here.
Akkor ugyanígy bemutatkozás, és akkor mehet szerintem angolul.
My name is Zoltán Győri. First of all, appreciate you very much for the movie. It was a great experience. Thank you very much. Two questions. First of all, Stephen King said that he stole from everyone whom he liked. My question is, can you tell some movies that inspired you about this movie?
Yes, of course. Obviously, we have never hidden that, but we are very much inspired by. I'm very bad with microphones, so is that okay?
Do you want me to hold or?
No, I'm just like never know what to do with them. Obviously, we are very much inspired by the Coen brothers and obviously Quentin Tarantino in the way they portrayed violence as a way to tell a story, not violent per violent, just violent for the sake of violence. And we are very much influenced by directors like Steven Spielberg. We grew up in the 80s, and in Israel in the 80s all you had to do is cinema. I mean, we had one channel in the television, so you had to get a lot of your entertainment from cinema. So everything that came to Israel in the 80s, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, later on we discovered Martin Scorsese from the 70s, and of course Sergio Leone with The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. So all the great directors from the 70s, then came Coen brothers and Quentin Tarantino, and in recent years I have to admit a lot of Korean films. Since Old Boy and Memories of Murder, and especially a film that we saw called I Saw the Devil, a Korean film that after we've seen I Saw the Devil, we knew we wanted to make Big Bad Wolves. Because the Korean kind of gave us the inspiration on how to be influenced from countries around the world, but still do your own thing. Not just being a copycat, not just copying other films, but be your own. So I guess we are influenced by everything, by a lot of films and directors.
Thank you. And the second question is, I felt a little bit a theater style in the movie. Have you ever directed a theater piece?
Nope. I'm sorry I don't have a longer question. No, but we kind of thought about the film, especially in the middle part, and the last part in the basement. Aaron was always very much influenced by Jaws. 3 guys on a boat with the shark. You never hardly see the shark. And he wanted to write Jaws in a basement, where you have these 3 characters and it's all about the dynamics. And we wanted to do that so we could practice directing and camera movements and how can you be creative in such a small space.
Like Reservoir Dogs by Quentin Tarantino.
Sorry?
Like Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
People sitting in one room.
Definitely.
And talking.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Esetleg más kérdés? Jövök. Akkor ugyanígy majd egy bemutatkozást, és akkor jöhet a kérdés maga.
Okay, hi, I'm Szilárd Veres, and what was your thought when you heard that Quentin Tarantino says it was the best movie of 2013?
How did I react it?
Yeah.
It was nice. I was in Busan, in Korea, and about 15 minutes before the screening, a girl approached me, a girl from the festival, and said, "Do you know Mr. Tarantino is in town?" And I told her, yes. And she said, "He would like to come and talk to you before he sees your film. Is that okay?" And I told her, yes. And she said, "Okay, wait here. He will come, but don't jump on him. Let him come to you." He walked through the door and I jumped on him. I told him, "Listen, I'm like a little girl in a Justin Bieber concert. I can't act cool. I can't." And he said, "That's okay." And we talked a little bit. Then we went to the theater. And we walked to the theater, and he just said, "Listen, I can't stay for the Q&A. I have a very busy schedule, so don't worry about it. It has nothing to do with your film." And I told him, "Listen, just the fact that you're coming to the theater is enough for me." He sat through the film, and by the end, the same Korean girl came and said, Mr. Tarantino, is there a chance we could I already asked the music. So the same girl came and said, Mr. Tarantino canceled all his appointments for the day. He would like to stay for the Q&A if that's okay with you. And I told her, listen, everything that Quentin wants is okay with me. And I was doing the Q&A and he raised his hand. And I was already very nervous because this guy, I mean, his IQ is off the charts, and I was afraid he's going to ask me something about his reference or another movie, and I really wished Aaron was there with me. Just to say, Aaron and I flipped a coin. I went to Korea, Aaron went to Chicago. So while I was meeting Quentin Tarantino, Aaron was entertaining old grandmothers, Jewish grandmothers in Chicago. So Tarantino raised his hands and asked me this nicest, cutest question ever. How was it to work with the actors? Did you do a lot of rehearsal, or did you leave a little magic for the set? And I told him we did not a lot of rehearsal, but as many as we thought it would be proper, and we leave a lot of magic for the set. And then he took the microphone again, and he said what he said. It had a few swears.
What did he say?
I'm not going to do the Quentin Tarantino impression, but imagine him doing it with a lot of hands, and this movie is fucking sensational. Like this, not only the best film of Busan, but the best film of the year. And I took the microphone, threw it on the floor, took my tie off, kissed the audience, and went outside. Everyone was clapping, of course, and I came back and I said, like George Costanza from Seinfeld, I'm out, I retire, that's it. Aaron always says it's like meeting Elvis Presley, and Elvis Presley kind of tap on your shoulder and say, hey man, you can sing. It's unbelievable. I mean, we're still a bit shocked and overwhelmed by it, but the experience was amazing. I spent the whole day with him, drinking, meeting with him later. He was like, hey man, do you like to come and join us? And I was like, yeah, I'm right there. So I entered the pub and Quentin says, hey guys, this is the director I was telling you about. So Navot, meet director Bong Joon-ho. If you know him, he's the director of Memories of Murder, Mother, and now did Snowpiercer. So it turned out to be a very good day for me. It's a very, very long answer, I'm sorry, but it's still very exciting.
It's okay, and what was the reaction in Israel that you choose a very serious topic and you make a really absurd and comedy stylish movie about a serious topic?
I have to admit we were a little bit afraid because the Israeli audience prefer realistic topics for his films. And we wanted to make a very crazy, violent fairy tale. And actually the movie was a great success in Israel. It even won 6 Israeli Oscars, 5, sorry. I just added 1 like that. He won 5 Israeli Oscars and it did amazingly well in the box office, like a mainstream blockbuster success. And we ended up winning the Critical Association Award. So it was an amazing year for us and for a genre film in Israel, and the audience made it a cult film. And we had that Independence Day in Israel. And we opened a new channel only for Israeli films on the satellite, and this was the film to celebrate Israeli Independence Day. So the movie jumped right into the heart of the mainstream, which I think is very, also a little bit strange, but very rewarding.
Thank you.
És akkor szerintem az utolsó kérdésból nincs, Balázs, ha te is így gondolod, adom. Jó? Adom.
Hello, my name is Aggie Reiter. I write to the rollinginbudapest.com in English. I'm Hungarian. And I would have several questions, but because the time is running fast, I would try to make it short. The first thing that I would like to ask that, these are known actors in Israel, or they are just jumped into the shots?
No, they are the biggest actors in Israel. The Cop, Mickey is Lior Ashkenazi, is like our George Clooney.
I thought he was a real cop. Okay.
No, he's like our George. We already worked with him on Rabies, but in Rabies, our first feature, we kind of tricked him. We told him, you're going to be the star of the film. And he wasn't, but so after Rabies, our first feature was a big international success, he met us on the street and told us, you promised me I'm going to be your main actor, so write me a new script. Write it now, stop doing the festivals. A couple of days later, Aaron called him and told him, I'm going to write you the part of a maniac, douchebag, sociopath, idiot, cop, like you are in real life. And he was perfect, I know how to do that. So he's like Israel's biggest actor. Tzachi, who plays the father, is like our Daniel DeLuis, our most celebrated dramatic actor. The grandfather is the biggest comedian in Israel. We grew up on him as kids.
I saw him as he was doing the fire.
Sorry?
I saw him as a real comedian as he was lighting the fire.
Oh yeah, no, he's a real comedian. But he haven't done anything for 20 or 30 years because everyone thought he was crazy, which he is, but he's just so fun to work with. So we wrote the parts for them. In the script...
Did they like it right away?
Liked it right away. They were, yeah, I mean, their names, the real names was on the script because we knew they were going to be in
How long did the shooting last?
26 days.
26 days.
Yes. And all the small parts in the film are also by big actors in Israel, big television actors or cinema or movie actors, but almost everyone you see is really a big star in Israel.
My last question would be that in the future when you're going to shoot another film, will it be in a similar subject or are you going to switch the corners?
Right now we have this dream project.
Plans.
Sorry?
The plans.
Right now we have a plan to, and it's a dream project. I'm not sure how much time it's going to take to make it, but we want to make a spaghetti western taking place.
You got the cowboy already.
Sorry?
You got the cowboy already.
We got a cowboy already, taking place in the 40s while we were a British colony. We were under British occupation and we had all resistant groups. It was a very exciting and crazy time and we already have a great title for it. It's going to call Once Upon a Time in Palestine. And that was the name of the country before it became Israel. And it's kind of the origin story of how we became a country, but in a very entertaining and fun way. But it might take a while to make it happen because it's a big budget film. And
the script is already?
No, we're just playing with it, developing it. Everybody wants in on it because the subject is so great. But maybe it's going to be 2 features from now, I don't know. But I'm pretty curious on what we're going to do next. I still don't know.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sok még hátul volt a fiatalembernek.
Már megyek is.
Okay, hi, I'm Peter.
Hi, Peter.
And my question would be, I'm not sure if I was missing the first or the first 2 questions, so I hope that no one talked about this earlier. About the ending.
Yes.
You wrote the script, right? You and the other director together. And I just wanted to ask if it was set from the very beginning that the little guy did all what he did, or wasn't it kind of a yes or no thing? Because I had the feeling at the end that it would have been a much stronger experience for me if all that shit happened just for nothing.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a great question. That's a question we ask ourselves a lot. From the beginning we knew we want him to be the guy. And we wanted, I've seen a lot of revenge thrillers or revenge tales where some people so blinded by justice catch their own guy. And by the end you understand that they did terrible stuff to the wrong guy. And then the moral tale to the end of the film is, okay, sometimes being you know, a vigilante or being raged with vengeance makes you do horrible, horrible stuff. And we thought it's a bit too simple for us to ask that moral question because we've seen it before. And we wanted to raise another question. By the end of the film, now that you know they had the right guy and they did all this horrific, terrible stuff, are you still cheering for them? I mean, are you still thinking they are the heroes of the film? Because you know what? They were, as you can say, they were just. And they did it all to the right guy. But are you still cheering for them? Are you still feeling sorry for him, or are you still feeling sorry for them? So we wanted a much more complex question for the audience to go out. And when you think about it, it's a kind of a reverse revenge. Because the real revenge in the film is by the victim, by the suspect. In the end, he has the upper hand. So that was questions that we wanted to ask. And I really like that question because from the beginning we had this argument with our producers. They wanted to end it on a happier note. They said, okay, after all the audience has been through, let's end it in a happy note, in an uplifting mode. And we said that it will be morally wrong to let the audience live cheering, yeah, they got it in the end, cool. Because that's not the story. The story is about a revenge and violence going terribly, terribly wrong. And we wanted the audience to live with a heavy heart. So every time I'm in a screening and everyone's laughing up until the last 10 minutes, and when the roll credit ends and everyone are quiet, like, oh my God. That's when I know we had a good screening, we are at peace with the moral aspect of the film, and that we are not encouraging violence or saying, hey guys, they are the good guys, those wolves in the end, those three guys. But that's a great question, thank you for that.
Okay, thanks. I just asked this because I had the feeling the whole time like I had to kind of cheer for them, but I felt like I had no reason to, and it was strange for me because it felt like I felt like that at one moment the film is telling me to, and at the other moment it's telling me not to. So it was complex, and I wanted to ask you that because I was curious about your opinion about that, and I'm glad to hear that we share the same opinion on this.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Esetleg még egy kérdés, jó, itt a végén, ez szerintem még belefér.
Hello, I'm Borbála Sütőnagy. The movie was great. A weird question for you. Do you know Dexter?
Sorry?
Do you know Dexter?
Personally?
It's about a serial killer.
Yeah, I know. I have to admit, I've never watched it. I'm sorry. I know, but I just started to watch The Sopranos, so maybe that compensated.
Just a strange thing that the cop wears the same killing shirt.
Oh, really?
As Dexter, yeah.
Well, maybe I've seen it in a glimpse and it's stuck into my head. But you mean the cop wears the same shirt?
Yeah.
Well, that's the only shirt that Leo didn't look fat in it. So, and we had this very fun moment where in the middle of the shooting we had to stop for 2 weeks because Leo was doing a film in Paris, in France. So he came after 2 weeks, and the catering in the French production was amazing. So he gained like 6 kilos. So before every take, Aaron would shout, "Leo, your stomach," and Leo was like, and we had to shoot it, and that's the only shirt that we were lucky enough to get. He would look buff, but actually he's a bit fat.
Okay. Yeah,
But
thank you.
You're welcome.
Ha nincs több kérdés, szerintem akkor engedjük a rendező urat pihenni, elég izgalmas napon van túl. Nagyon-nagyon szépen köszönjük, hogy eljöttek, hogy itt voltak velünk, reméljük, hogy tetszett a film. Az én részemről egy tapsot mindenféleképpen megérne a történet.
Thank you. Spread the word. It would mean Hungary. Facebook, Twitter, do it. It will be very helpful, and thank you for coming and sharing this experience with me. I will tell everything about you to Aaron, and I know he would be very excited if he could be here with me, so thank you.